The resource that I use all the time to look for books, look for book reviews, get ideas is Follett Tidal Wave. So you would access it by going to www.tidalwave.com. And your first time there, you're going to want to sign up for an account. I already have one. So if you're not familiar with this, this is an unbelievably robust database that I think is going to help you with what you're looking for. Just get myself signed in. So there's a lot of different ways that you can do this, but at the very basic level, you can just type in a title of a book that you are looking for. So if I'm looking for I can't spell, Chicka Chicka Boom Boom. If there are professional reviews about any given title, they're going to be listed. So it's just nice because they're all kind of curated and collected in one spot, which is really nice. So if I go to, and you'll see that they've got board books, they've got ebooks. Sometimes they're in Spanish, sometimes they're in a different language, so you want to pay attention to that. I'm going to go to the one that's in English. So when I click on the title, it just gives me some of your basic summary information about, author, title, things like that. But once you scroll down a little bit, you'll get the Follett overview, the publisher information. And for some books, depending on what you're looking for, that might be all you see in terms of a review. But you'll get your product details here. But if you keep scrolling, you'll see some reviews and awards down below. And again, it's going to depend on the book as to what you'll see. So for this particular one, Chicka Chicka Boom Boom, you'll see that it actually had 3 reviews, but they're just giving you the one Hornbook full text review. If I go to a different book, though, you'll see that depending on the title, there will be possibly more. So if I go to Whoosh, which there's other titles with Whoosh as its title, and again, you got different languages, but I'm going to scroll down to the one we want. So here we have the English version. So similarly, you've got your Lexile reading, your AR, the Dewey number. I mean, this is a library resource, so you're going to see a lot of things that might pertain to a library collection as well. And I keep scrolling past the product details, and you're going to see for this one that there are 6 full text reviews that you can read about this book. And starred reviews are certainly an exceptional book, and Publishers Weekly sometimes can be a little bit biased just because it's written by the publisher. So ones that I tend to rely on a lot are certainly School Library Journal, because those are going to be school librarians that are reviewing those, whereas some of these others might be public librarians or other reviewers that might look at it through a different lens. But when you have a book like Whoosh that has 6 different reviews, it gives you a real solid picture of what that book is about, and anything that might perhaps be a red flag, or if there's a recommendation to add it to your collection. So at the very basic level, you can just do an author, a title, keyword search in the search query here. But I'm going to go back to the home page, because another resource that's woven in here that may be of help to you, if I go over here to the left under For Library, and again, you can see a lot of different things that you can search for, but if I go under K-12 resources, you've got a lot of filters that you can look for, again, different titles, different genres, different reading levels, the Dewey numbers if you're interested in the catalog feature of it. But some of the filters on the side that might help you with your pre-K picture book selection might be either the interest levels, filter it by the reading levels, but I could just click on board book here, and I can certainly add more than one filter, but at the very minimum, I've got some pre-K titles that are listed here, actually 622 of them. And another thing that you can do too that I didn't mention before, so let's say, for example, I'm scrolling through here and I'm interested in 10 Little Rubber Ducks. So similarly, we've got the same information. We've got overview from the publisher, from Follett, product details. Now in this particular one, there aren't any reviews, so that doesn't necessarily mean that it's not a recommended book, but nobody's reviewed it. So that can give you a piece of information, but doesn't necessarily mean that it's a poor book. It could just mean that, that it's newly published. They haven't gotten to it yet. But what you may start to do is you find books that are of interest to you. You can create a list. So all of the titles have a button here to add the list. And so I don't have a list yet for these, so I might say add to list. It'll give me a chance to title it, and I'll maybe just title big book, picture book. So I'm going to save it. So now as I find books that pertain to perhaps what it is that I'm looking for, I can just add it to the list. And so the advantage to that is I keep going back. I'll just add a couple more here just to, so I'll just pretend like this is what I want to, and I'm going to add that to my list. So over time, if I've got my list complete, or if I feel that I've got a lot there and I want to see that list in its entirety, I'm going to come over here to my save list in the upper right hand corner and choose picture books. So again, because this is designed to help align and integrate into a card catalog system, there may be some information here that is information that may not pertain to you particularly. Like I said, the Dewey numbers, mark records, things like that. But even though you're not necessarily looking to purchase them through Follett, which you can, I'm going to still choose print a quote. And that gives me some options to how I want to have that printed. And so perhaps I want to have just an annotated list, so I get a little bit of information about those. And again, some of these other things may not pertain to you in terms of cataloging and processing. No, I don't want to have that right now. And I'm just going to say continue. And I only added 2 books, but it just gives me the title number and price if I were to be interested in purchasing them from Follett. But it does curate my list for me. So my recommendation for you getting information for picture books would be to go and create an account in TidalWave.com. Another resource that might be helpful for you is School Library Journal. So there is a lot of information here that you can access for free, as with other sites. If you purchase a subscription, you get some additional features, but with the free version, there are still a lot of great resources here. So 2 in particular, if I click on school libraries, I've got some information down here that might be helpful. So not necessarily if you're looking for a specific book, but maybe you're just doing some book browsing to get some ideas for some new books. And so you've got some lists in that here that have been curated by school librarians. Another one is if I go to the reviews tab, and again, you've got lots of different choices here. I can look for different books. If I want to look for book lists, the 0 to 3 age range. If you see premium, that's one that you'd have to have a paid subscription for, but there are still some other really great lists and suggestions here. So School Library Journal might be something more for you just to browse around a little bit. Tidal Wave is going to be a great resource for you if you're looking for specific titles or specific authors.